Pretty awesome looking, but man, was it a pain in the ass. The Switch 1 had a lot of third-party shells, with ExtremeRate being the most popular. It became a pretty popular idea to mod your Switch 1 with a brand new color scheme, something that Nintendo would have never dared to dream up. Maybe one that a lot of Switch fans would wish Nintendo would dream up. ExtremeRate finally released their line of Switch 2 shells. There are a lot of color options, but I opted for straight up clear because I thought it was the most unique. It's like a prison Switch. There are a bunch of options. You can get just the buttons, just the back shell, just the Joy-Con with the buttons, or the kit with everything. You might have noticed that my mod has a D-pad. You cannot get the D-pad mod with the whole kit. So if you want the D-pad, you might as well get everything individually. I also have white buttons, which I also got separately. I wanted to make something that was unique to me, and I don't really like the look of the clear buttons anyway. There's membranes underneath them, so they're just gonna look gray no matter what. I have made a couple of Game Boys with clear shells and white buttons, and I love the way that those look, so I followed the same pattern here. This came out really good, and I'm very glad that I did it. However, I don't feel comfortable recommending that you do it. This is, again, and I can't stress this enough, a massive pain in the ass to do. The whole thing took me a total of 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I am not a novice. I've done shell swaps on previous Joy-Con a bunch of times. The insides of the Joy-Con 2 are also extremely intricate. There's a lot that can go wrong. This is not for the faint of heart. It is very rewarding to have your own customized Nintendo Switch 2. Finally, a color scheme before Nintendo releases limited edition ones. But it will come at a cost. The shells are actually pretty cheap. The cost is your time and your patience. This video is sponsored by Belkin. Done. It's always nice to get vacation packing done a little bit early. Now I have the rest of the day to just relax. Oh God, I gotta finish packing. Did you finish packing? Oh my God, this is such a disaster. I gotta do my laundry. Do you have a European adapter? No, we're going to Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Europe. I'll just get one of Hudson News. Did you pack your Switch? I gotta pack my Switch. I'll just do one of these. I do this all the time. Don't worry about it. Don't use your sock. Use a case. Here. Nah, I can't use any bulky cases. I can't get stopped by TSA again. I'm on a list. Don't ask. It's not a bulky case. It's very thin. Fine, I'll tell you. I buy a lot of animals. I don't want to know. Now I know. The Belkin carrying case for the Nintendo Switch 2 is thin and ultra-portable but sturdy. It's the perfect marriage of protection and mobility. It's got spots for games and even a little air tag or tile pouch, so you'll never lose your precious Switch. Not affiliated with Nintendo. So if you put your Switch 2 in here, maybe you won't break it so much. Oh, because I always break them? Okay, well, let's test that. That was mine. I know, I'm sorry, I'll get you another one. Plus, it's stylish and comes in 3 cool colors that are like mature and not flashy. It's like a piece of tech and not a toy. Get your Belkin carrying case at the link in the description below and start protecting your goodies today. Done and done. I ordered you a new Switch and I got myself a Belkin case as well. Also, hope you don't mind, my computer's bugged, so I used yours to buy a couple of koalas. A couple what? Koalas! What's the big deal? Also, they're gonna be shipped here, and when they get here, you gotta then gift them to me, but don't put my name down. I go by an alias. What's the alias? It's Bob spelled backwards. That's just Bob. No, Bob spelled backwards. So Dodd? No, Bob spelled backwards. This was sent to me by ExtremeRate. I messaged them because I just wanted to see when they would come out. It said that they were available, but they weren't on Amazon. I was a little confused. And it turns out this is just when they were like in the middle of releasing them. At the time, I didn't realize that you can get the backplate separately. I should have just done that. Instead, I got way too much stuff. I got a clear kit, which is $39. Then I got clear Joy-Con shells with the D-pad cut out because I very much wanted the D-pad cut out. That is $29. I also got white buttons, which are $19. The buttons also come with a white D-pad, so that's nice. So the kit is about $40. But if you want yours to look like mine, get the individual parts. and that will run you about $70. That's not that cheap. Of course, you could just do the Joy-Con if you want. The back is only visible from the back. You can't see it when I'm holding it like this. So there are a lot of parts, and I got way too much stuff. So the assembly became a bit of a mess. They do have a guide up on YouTube. It is an hour long, but it is a very good guide. They highlight every screw and even tell you how long that screw is. There are a couple of things that I would recommend that you do differently than the guide, and I'll run through all of those real quick. I'm not going to go over the whole guide because that would be over an hour long, and there's already a great guide for that. I'll warn you again that this mod is a little difficult. I would hesitate to recommend it to you if you've never done anything like this before. I would hate to be encouraging, and then all of a sudden you rip a ribbon cable and now your $400 device is a brick. That would suck. You're going to want to pause the guide frequently when you're using it, so don't just leave it running. Make sure you have a ton of workspace because it'll fill up fast. They give you all the tools you need in the box, like a tri-tip and a Phillips screwdriver and a spudger. They even give you sharp tweezers. I actually don't like these tweezers. I would recommend these rounded tip tweezers so that you don't accidentally stab anything. I'll link some of this stuff in the description. Having a place to put your screws is also nice. I have this solder mat that numbers each screw so I can just go in reverse when I'm putting things back together. Make sure you look at the screw before you just jam your screwdriver in there. It's very easy to strip these screws if you're using the wrong one. Only a few of the outermost screws are tri-tip, so you'll mostly be using the Phillips screwdriver for this. I'm using the LTT screwdriver for this, and iFixit kit will do just fine, or you can use the screwdrivers that they provided. They start with the left Joy-Con. I skipped all the way to the end of the tutorial to do the back because I knew that would be the easiest part. And the very first thing you should do is remove the micro SD card. The tutorial does not mention this. It sounds like a no-brainer, but I've broken at least 2 Steam Deck micro SD cards this way. When removing the sticker on the inside of the Joy-Con rail, they recommend using a heat gun. I did not use a heat gun and the sticker came right off. It doesn't really matter if you ruin the sticker or scrape the metal underneath the sticker. There's a new sticker in the kit. Be careful not to hit the power button when you're handling the unit. Of course, it should be off during this whole process. When reassembling, make sure power and volume buttons and the ribbon cable don't fall out of line. I actually f***ed this up somehow. Now my power button's all weird. We'll fix that later. Really, that's it. This is very simple. Just a few screws and some adhesive heat absorption stickers, and you're good. I give the back plate a doability rating of 8.8 out of 10. It is fairly easy to do, even for the most novice of modders. They even provide adequate tools in the box. You don't need to purchase anything additional, although your life would be a little easier if you had some of the other stuff that I mentioned previously. There are a decent amount of intricate steps, but it's not finicky. Take your time. The backplate is kind of easy mode. The Joy-Con are the fucking worst. Just clear your schedule. You're going to need a lot of time for these. I even took a break after doing one of the Joy-Con. I had to come back the next day to tackle the rest. Getting it apart is easy. Be very, very careful with this battery connector that's on the PCB. You gotta wiggle it so gently. This is foreshadowing. There's a lot of intricate ribbon cables. Even the guy in the video futzes around with the ribbon cables like a lot. I'd recommend not removing the ribbon cable for the shoulder button. Just unscrew it from the case and let it dangle there. That's what I did on the second Joy-Con and it was fine. That ribbon cable in particular sucks to put back in. It's just easier to unscrew it entirely. Oh, I just dropped it. Oh, God. Well, if you see it scratched up in the B-roll, that is why. It landed right on the corner. God damn it. The ribbon connectors inside of the Joy-Con rail are so delicate. You actually spend a lot of time inside the Joy-Con rail for the full mod. It's kind of a small detail in the grand scheme of things for something that takes so long to do. They even give you replacement metal SL and SR buttons, which I guess is why this kit is more money than the Joy-Con 1 kit, which was just all plastic. At first, I could not find the sync button or the pin release buttons, so I just used the old ones. A little splash of color doesn't hurt, since you'll see the joystick color poking through anyway. And then I found the clear ones later. So just make sure that your build space is clean and organized. Mine was not. The battery sucks pretty hard to get out. It's really glued in there. And you do not want to heat it up. So I would say it's okay to just snap that middle housing in half. Just make sure that there's no sharp pieces that'll puncture the battery. The battery can also bend, so be careful not to do that either. I also could not find one of the little mouse feet at the end, so I just ripped that off of the old Joy-Con too. There's just too many damn pieces in this kit, and they're all clear. It is a very well-designed mod kit. They thought of a lot. There's even a lot of little adhesive pieces that are made easy to apply. These should also help maintain the integrity of the Joy-Con after the mod. I even just dropped this just now on the concrete floor, and everything seems to be just fine. Doability of the Joy-Con, get a 5.5 out of 10. It's doable. I just never, ever want to do it again. The ribbon cables are such a bitch. There are a decent amount of really intricate parts. There are also a decent amount of spare parts that the kit gives you. Also, you have all of the parts from the original Joy-Con too. You could just use those if you really need to. It's just a little dangerous because everything's very delicate, and if you break something, there goes your $80 Joy-Con. It's not the fault of ExtremeRate. They did a great job with this mod, and they did a great job with the tutorial video too. It's not even really the fault of Nintendo. The Joy-Con 2 are very intricate, and there's a lot of stuff packed into here. It's actually a little bit easier to do than the Joy-Con 1, except for those rails. That might make it a little harder. The Joy-Con 1 didn't have anything like that. It's just hard to recommend because I'd imagine that most people don't want to risk breaking a ribbon cable and destroying their Joy-Con. Also, most people are probably a little stupid and can't follow simple directions for 3 hours straight. But if you think that you can, sure, go nuts. Go ahead, give it a try. It took me a total of 3 hours and 15 minutes. I was not streaming when I did this either, so my full attention was on this mod. First Joy-Con took 1 hour and 30 minutes. The second took only an hour, and the back took just 40 minutes, and maybe less because I spent a lot of time just looking at all the pieces. That was the first thing I did too. You can make this a lot easier on yourself with a couple of minor compromises. Like, for example, why not just leave the Joy-Con rails how they are? You're going to have the red and blue colors show through from under the thumbstick anyway, so just leave the rails how they are. That'll shave off a lot of time and a lot of headache. And depending on the color scheme, it might even look better. I think it wouldn't look too bad with the clear shell. And if you do this, you could potentially leave the ribbon cables on the whole time. Just be careful. The middle piece with the battery also doesn't need to be replaced either.
There would be no middle bit showing through at all if this wasn't clear. So you don't even need to change out the middle bit if you're not getting a clear Joy-Con. Right there. This one little sliver would show through. That's it. It's not like the old Joy-Con. This is all covered up. It would just be this one little sliver right here.
If you don't do the rails or the middle piece and you don't remove any of the ribbon cables, I would say this doability score goes from a 5.5 all the way up to a 7. It would make your life a lot easier. You could also opt to not do the back. You don't really see it from the front either. You're not going to see it while you're playing anyway. That is the easiest thing to do, but it would save you 20 bucks. I would say the easiest thing to do here is just the buttons. I got these buttons from switchbuttons.com. They make a set of buttons that just match the red and blue of the Joy-Con. Now that I'm a Joy-Con opening pro, I did this without the tutorial and it took me all of about 40 minutes. I left all the ribbon cables attached with the exception of one on the right Joy-Con because there's a screw under it. And it ended up coming undone anyway. I also somehow left 3 screws out. One on the left side and 2 on the right side. But it all went back together just fine. I guess you don't really need those screws. I didn't even re-stick any adhesive or anything. And it all feels fine. This is kind of how the Joy-Con should have looked stock. This is a kind of cool way to add just a little bit of subtle flair while maintaining that Switch 2 look. So there are a decent amount of customization options now. I'm a bit surprised at the integrity of these Joy-Con and how they feel even after the mod. I even just dropped one and everything held together just fine. Both of these pairs feel fine. It doesn't really feel aftermarket, and it doesn't feel like I opened them up. In contrast, my Steam Deck got all sorts of up from the clear shell mod that I did. That thing will never feel the same again. I think ExtremeRate did a good job with all the adhesive that you reapply. The D-pad on this thing is pretty solid. It feels really nice. It is a bit stiff, but I kind of like it. I don't love where it is on the Joy-Con. I probably wouldn't opt to play games like this still, but it is what it is. The only thing that I don't love about my work here is the power and volume buttons. I kind of something up. You can honestly see it from the outside. I have to open this back up and move that membrane. This is a minor issue, and it's kind of my fault. Fixed it. It's fixed. We got in there. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we're good now. Whew. It's just a couple of screws to get back in there. It's really not the end of the world. Again, that was like the easiest part. Also, remember that little tiny finicky battery connector? So that connector for the battery ended up being disconnected, but it's okay. It's okay. We fixed it. It wasn't holding a charge at all, but now it's connecting just fine, and it looks like it's charging just fine. We're all good. Just a little bit of solderless paste, and we're good. And it wasn't too hard to fix that. Just be very careful with that little connector, okay? Hopefully you won't need any solder when you do yours. For the love of God, be careful with that little piece. This is purely for aesthetics. Though I wouldn't say that this plastic feels much cheaper than stock like the Steam Deck mod did or like the old Joy-Con mods were. Those made your Switch feel worse. And I don't think it's because this plastic is premium or anything. I just think the Switch 2 feels like cheap plastic already as it is. I'm very happy with how this looks. Of course, I still need a stock Nintendo Switch 2 for thumbnails and videos, so I got a spare for comparison. This clear one is my main Switch now, though, so we'll see how it holds up. Hopefully fine. I think it'll be fine. Right? It'll be fine? So what do you guys think about swapping the shell out on your Nintendo Switch 2? Is it still too precious to you to open up and mess around? Or are you already bored and you want some customization options? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter and all this other social media garbage. There's affiliate links to all of this stuff in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out Belkin, our sponsor. Thank you, Belkin. Hey, do me a favor. Look to see right now if you're subscribed. Maybe you're only seeing these videos on your homepage. You're not always going to see them like that. Click the subscribe button and share this video with a friend who, hey, maybe could do this for you. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good week.